Tomorrow is National Bourbon Day, and we are celebrating early with Never Say Die Bourbon.
Listen, we have been hearing so much about this brand. We are so excited to introduce the co-founder, Brian Luftman. He is joining us to tell us not only the backstory of this wonderful company, but how amazing it is. So tell us a little bit, if you don't mind, what's so amazing about this brand?
Well, it's the only bourbon that's ever been shipped in the barrel overseas to another country and bottled there. And so you probably wonder, why the heck would you do that?
Yeah.
And I'm sure people have seen Pat Madden on here, my co-founder. I apologize if you've heard this story before, but most people haven't. So a horse was born here on Hamburg Farm, and in 1951 had a horrible birth. It was barely breathing. And the main horse guy comes into the barn, and he gives a shot of whiskey to the horse to try to revive it. And it snaps out of it. It walks around the barn and goes to bed. So then he's fine in the morning, and they named him, what do you think? Never Say Die.
Yeah,
Never Say Die, right? So 3 years later, he's a world-class thoroughbred. They send him over to England because he's a turf racer on the grass, and they enter him into the Epsom Derby, which is he's 33-1. There's no chance he's going to win. He's got an 18-year-old rookie jockey on him, and the Queen Elizabeth is there. This is 1954, and so is Winston Churchill in her box. And they've got the favorite in the race, think they're going to win, and who do you think wins the race?
Never Say Die.
Boom. So if that's not a reason to make a whiskey brand, I don't know what is. And so we wanted to pay tribute to that. I can tell you the story about the rock and roll in a minute. But like the whole concept was, okay, this horse was born in Kentucky, reached greatness, and became an underdog sensation over in England. Why don't we do the same thing? So that's why we make our whiskey in Danville, custom mash bill, our own barrels. We started it in 2017, made our first barrels, shipped. And then they aged here for 6 years, and we ship them overseas in the barrel. It sloshes around and goes to England, stays another year there, and then we bottle it, and then it's awesome.
So it's the same story as the horse. I mean, it does that and does, big things, because you were telling me that Forbes even said, what about it?
This surprised us. It won gold.
Did it?
Yeah, it did. Well, now we knew it was good.
Okay.
Fair. Good. No, we entered into the World Spirits competition last summer, and it wins gold. Okay, so we're like giddy about that, right? But it was the only bourbon that won gold. And Forbes magazine picks this up, and they're like, well, heck, it must be the best bourbon in the world. And so they wrote an article that Never Say Die was the best bourbon in the world. Headlines, and it was really cool because it like highlighted our story and why our whiskey is exceptional and all of that.
I mean, I've heard it's exceptional. I feel like we need to taste it.
What do you mean you've heard?
Just to know how Jim just slapped that off so fast. He's really excited to try that.
He's a pro.
He said to go with the bourbon first. So I'm going to pour. This is for me. I'm just going to get a little taste.
Okay, well, why don't you pour me?
This is for you.
And then we have to pour Brian one. Did you see how much he poured for me, Brian?
I love it. A little bit
right?
Too. All right, now tell us the story on this bourbon right here.
Yeah.
We have to at least type, flavor, and all that good stuff.
But let's cheers first.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers to Never Say Die.
Never Say Die.
Absolutely.
So let's hear more about it. This is what we're about to drink.
Right. So this was distilled in Danville, like I said, custom mash bill. It's 75% corn, so a little higher percentage corn, but then it's got some rye in it. Bourbon only has to be 50% corn, 51. So this is a little bit higher, and we got some real sweetness with it. But man, that ocean trip smoothed it out, huh?
It does. You know how usually when you have bourbon, there's always like a punch at the very end, but you don't get that with this.
Right.
It's subtle, it's smooth. It's almost, if I must say, it's almost sexy-like. Do you get what I'm going with this? Like when you taste it.
Did you drink a lot?
Do you see?
I don't know how you deal with this guy.
I did pour a lot.
I know.
I did pour a lot for her. All right, we got something else over here. We got some rye
I'm gonna have to get an empty glass for India. You're not gonna be able to finish that, are you? All right.
Like you want to test me?
I love it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So does this go through the same process too?
Yeah. So in 2018, we decided let's make a rye too. We started that whiskey was distilled in 2018, so it's about to be 6 years old. It ages here for 5, ocean trip, and then it ages in England again for another year. And that we entered it, we knew it was good. We kept tasting it in the barrel, and we're like, this is damn good rye whiskey.
It is.
And so we were like, let's. Why don't we enter it in the San Francisco World Championships? That's like the biggest whiskey tasting event. All the celebrity judges are there. And we just got the results about a month ago, and it won double gold, which means every single judge rated it a gold medal, and it won with a 97 score. So, in my opinion, it's the best rye whiskey in the world, too. So there you go.
I mean.
So what we need to know, Brian, we need to know, where can we find it? How can we get it? Can we order it online? I
Right.
mean, where?
Yeah, so
Where?
we're in 150 retailers in Kentucky, and Pat and I are committed to making sure it's always available in Kentucky, because people come from all over the world to come to Kentucky and learn about bourbon and these stories and horses. And we're like, well, what better brand has bourbon and horses than ours? So it's in 150 retailers in Kentucky. We're only in about 8 or 9 states right now out of the 50. And I'm trying to expand that, but I mean, you can find it at any liquor barn, Total Wine, Ernie's Spirits on Harrodsburg Road. Kevin always has it there, and he's a great fan of the brand. Definitely, it's Father's Day, for God's sake. So, like, if anyone who's watching is looking for an awesome gift for their husband, their dad, their grandpa, when you give them this and tell them the story and look up the story, there's more to it. They'll love it, and they'll feel awesome because you gave them something awesome.
This is absolutely delicious. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us today.
Yeah, we appreciate it so
much.
much.
Yes, we do.
All right, we've got more. What'd you say?
Never say die.
Never say die. Never say die. But I've got more Everyday Kentucky coming up.
I know, right? So stay right here. We'll have more after the break. Never say die.